there were literally people on the cruise trapped there, right?
Yeah.
Like, who would do that? They're like, man, our toilets are overflowed. We're just walking around barefoot in some shit. Like, I'm like, man, this thing is a zero.
What's up, everyone? We got Kunal here, who's been trading for over 20 years. And I want to know, man, in those 20 years, what has been your biggest loss?
Whoa, great question. I'll tell you, I got a couple different ways to look at bigger loss. So number one, biggest loss monetarily, those hurt, right? But they're not necessarily lessons. My biggest loss monetarily, I got hacked in 2019 on the way to Traders for a Cause. It was like 350 Bitcoins, something like that. That was a huge loss and a big life lesson. But some of that is just luck, right? Like, that hurt, but a loss is a loss. Maybe something positive comes out of it. In terms of like trading, that's my own fault. Man, I've had so many of these kind of things, but I would say one of my biggest losses actually came in COVID times on RCL. So when COVID came, I sat there and I had been shorting RCL nonstop from like 110 bucks. I've been pounding this thing. So I was actually up a significant amount of money. So I've been day trading it and swing trading it. But then I got greedy, man. So like the thing is still at like 30, 40 bucks, hanging out. And I'm like, how is this thing not like zero, right? So I'm a technical trader. But all of a sudden when you let like ideas, when you let theories come into your head, that's a no-no. So I'm sitting there like pounding this thing. I'm up a lot of money on it too.
Yep.
But I'm sitting there like, who in the world, because I'm thinking on a personal level, what kind of idiot is going to get on a cruise in the next few years, right? Why would you? There were literally people on the cruise trapped there, right?
Yeah.
Like, who would do that? They're like, man, our toilets are overflowed. We're just walking around barefoot in some shit. Like, I'm like, man, this thing is a zero, right? So in my head, the chart pattern was this, and that's how I got into it. It had nothing to do with my theory. So I'm not matching what my goal was in the beginning versus what my goal is at the end. My goal in the beginning was there was a chart breakdown, there was COVID, the whole world was ending, and there was a clear level of support that's breaking. As it starts going, I'm like, whoa, who wants to get on? So all of a sudden I'm like a fake fundamental guy, right?
Yep.
I'm a fake Warren Buffett, right?
Yep.
All of a sudden, like, who wants to get on this cruise ship? Who wants to do this? Who wants to do that? I'm like starting to look for this reason. All of a sudden, this thing starts to squeeze up. Everything starts to squeeze up, right? But they're starting to squeeze up when COVID was like really just hitting. Like the market in 2020 started reversing really like right when the lockdowns were starting. It's not like they were like when the lockdowns were ending. So like people were really scared still. And I know as a trader, when the bad news is the worst, that's when the market actually rebounds, because the market always looks 12, 18 months ahead. So when the recession hits, markets rebound. When the news hits on COVID the worst, that's when the market rebounds, because the market is forward looking. The market was tanking way before everybody got locked down. And same type of thing, and even in 2022, like when people are thinking about interest rates and this kind of thing, the market started tanking in 2021.
Hey, we wouldn't be able to do these face-to-face interviews if it wasn't for our sponsor, Cobra Trading. So if you can just give them a few seconds of your time, we'd really appreciate it. Cobra Trading is the go-to broker for day traders and short sellers. And I'm not the only one saying this. In fact, Benzinga awarded Cobra Trading as the go-to broker for short selling. They have a heavy focus on direct market access order routing, so you have the fastest execution. They have some of the best locate prices and availability. They also have amazing customer service. I've experienced many different brokers, and it's why I use them every single day and why I'm proud to have them as our sponsor. Sign up now by clicking the Be the Trader referral link below and earn 1 free month of software with Cobra and 25% off all commissions. Now let's get back to the show.
But like it was in 2022, the interest rates started to rise and these kind of things. And the same thing happened in COVID, and this was my mistake. I'm sitting there like, whoa, oh, I'm a technical trader, but all of a sudden I have these ideas. Like, I actually know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
No, I don't, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not some executive in the cruise ship industry.
Yeah.
I'm not some insider in the cruise ship industry. When technical traders start having ideas and become fundamental traders, it's all loss. And that was a huge loss for me, not because of the actual loss, but because how much I was up.
Yep.
I'd been shorting this thing from 110, then I was adding at 80, I was covering some, adding at 60, covering some, but I was nailing this thing down. It could have been one of those trades that lasted a lifetime. But instead, because I'm hearing the news, and then all of a sudden I'm believing because I've seen the P&L in my profits,
Yep.
and I'm like, man, I'm good. I know a lot about this cruise industry. Let me tell you something.
Yep.
Look at all this money in my account. I know everything about cruises. So all of a sudden I'm pounding it. Next thing you know, I'm like doing some Googling. Like, man, people are stuck on Carnival Caribbean and Jamaica and so on and so forth. I'm an expert, right?
Yep.
So I keep shorting, don't cover. All of a sudden this thing starts to squeeze. And I'm like, no. Because what happens when the market rebounds like that, it's very rare there's V-shaped bounces, but they do happen. So the market does a V-shaped bounce, and I'm in my head like, oh, it's just a bear market squeeze. We just got locked down like 5 days ago, 10 days ago,
Yep.
right? It's just starting. No, the market looks 12 months ahead. So this thing is squeezing. This is not a bear market relief bounce. This is the bottom. But sometimes, when you start to convince yourself of these things, you can have losses. And so I've had a few of these in my life.
Yep.
Some by luck, that'll happen, like the hack. And even that's my own fault for, maybe a lack of security sometimes. And then you have these kind of things where arrogance comes into play. It's not even a risk management thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's a whole mixture of everything. It's an arrogance, risk management, not matching styles of trading, going against what your actual edges.
Yep, exactly. Like you went from
everything.
technical to fundamental. And what I really love is just how it's easy for anyone to get like lost into a narrative. It really
Yeah.
is. Like, especially when you're in a position and you're doing well in the position and you get in for X and you have a plan of Y, and then you see more things going towards your position in your favor, and you're like, I do know something about this.
Yeah.
And you're totally right. So look, I appreciate you sharing that, Kunal. I know a lot of people are going to benefit from this, my man, so I appreciate that, brother.
Hey.
Here we go.